is going on, everybody? Welcome to Yeet It at the Table.
No yeet.
No Yeet It at the Table?
No, I was ready to exhale and just say, we're back.
We're back. Hey, welcome back. Drew, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You're dressed nice tonight.
Hey, I got off work on time.
You got the shower?
No, I didn't get the shower.
You didn't get the shower.
I didn't. I stopped and had a little ice cream date with the wifey.
Aw.
Would have got here at like 4:45, 5 o'clock.
Yeah?
And then I was like, no, that's a little early.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can always... Did Jeffrey offer to bring you ice cream? Did Jeffrey offer to bring you a Polar Pop?
No.
No?
And,
Oh.
well, I
No
mean,
free ads, but Polar Pop.
hey, no free ads, but my buddy's company.
Oh, what's that?
Be worthwhile.
Is that the name of the company?
Yeah.
I mean, I could read the hat.
Yeah, be worthwhile.
Okay.
But it's a reminder to just be you in everyday life because you are worthwhile.
Whose company?
My buddy Tyler Steigelman.
that in
graduated high school with him.
Chattanooga?
Nashville.
Nashville. That's what.
Graduated high school with him. So
Okay.
yeah, I've got my hat and I've got a shirt on the way. He's out on business, so once he gets back to the house, he said he'll send it to me. But I'm excited to obviously rep my friends and help my friends out any way I can, and a quick shout out to them. So appreciate
absolutely. Speaking of helping your friends out, if you're watching this, hit the share button.
you. Exactly.
Yeah. Hit the share button. Let some of your friends know. We're not only here for you, we grow by you hitting the share button. So
We're here for anyone and everyone.
do it. Cheers. Few orders of business real quick. First of all, we want to extend our prayers to my brother and really just everybody else in his class that was involved. Pretty serious car accident in Wakulla County today.
Yes.
So my little brother was involved. He's fine. He is fine.
Thank God.
But just want to extend our prayers for everybody involved in that. It was pretty serious. So just wanted to get that out. And also happy birthday to Kristen King, right? KK.
Yes,
I
yes.
don't know if she
Happy
ever
birthday.
watches us or if she likes us at all, but happy birthday.
Well, we'll copy this and then we'll send it to her.
Yeah.
And that way she has to watch from now on.
Jeffrey's had my login to TikTok for like 8 weeks and there's one clip been posted from the show and it's like an hour and a half long.
Well, maybe we should fix that.
Yeah, I agree.
We don't pay you for nothing.
Put him over my knee and I'm be the bad uncle.
Dude,
Not the creepy uncle. Not what everyone out there is thinking.
he touched my BB.
Scoutmaster Kevin?
Don't do what you had to do before the show. Oh, that was an exciting time.
Oh yeah.
Me and Jeffrey heard every bit of it, and we're just like, what do we do? What do we do?
If you hear just pure freaking carnage in the background, it's because my wife's trying to give my 5-year-old, soon to be 6-year-old, a shower, and he is not with it tonight. So it's going as you would expect. Let's see. We got it's Tyler Spalding. Thank you for the share.
Yes, sir.
Put it in the comments that you shared it, and we'll read your comments. Few things tonight. We're gonna do a little get to know us game. We found a bunch of like back and forth questions. I think some of these are gonna actually be pretty fun. And
I read the first like 10 to 15 with Michaela, and it got a little interesting because she was like, "I bet you I can answer all of them." And she was pretty on par with most of them. And then
Really?
there were a couple of them. She was just like, "I don't know. Do you have a favorite? This? Do you like this?" And I'm like,
Watch the show.
Kind of.
Watch the show.
We'll find out.
We'll
later.
find out tonight. Hey, thanks everybody for not getting upset with us last week off. Drew had family. His dad and his parents were in town. It kind of worked out. I mean, we were trying to push to get ready to go back to school, trying to go to bed early, so it worked out better for us anyway. So
yeah, things just kind of fell into place for both of us. It was a nice time to take a little break and kind of get back to get time with family for both of us. So it was exciting. I even missed a softball game.
Yeah, I know. Which was
Wow.
to let you guys know, that's the reason I was like, okay, this is serious. Drew's actually spending time with people, so that's why I had no problem calling the show off. And I had to tell him, I was like, this is not a bad break, because in the past we've taken like weeks off of shows. And it's like, dude, whatever. We just don't want to do this week. But we've, I mean, I can't speak for you, but I've had a lot of fun doing this. So
definitely,
it sucked not being here, but it was a good week to take off because next week or the next 3 weeks. We're looking ahead to football season.
That's when the fun begins.
Yeah, so next Saturday, Florida State kicks off. So we'll do a little college football preview next week. We are going to talk about the first AP poll that dropped this week on today's episode.
Still unsure why Florida State's playing across the world.
Yeah, can you put the AP poll up real quick? We're going to talk about this more at the end of the show. Uh-oh, there it is. We're going to talk about this more at the end of the show, but there's our AP top 25.
I like the center one right there.
Yeah, number 13. I got some, I mean, we'll talk more about it, but just to kind of start and give a little preview, everything after 1 and 2 is a complete crapshoot.
Oh, yeah. And not to give too much away, but there was a comment by a Miami fan on your original post whenever you said that we were going to be talking about this that I read and I was like, that is a great take. And it's something that we've said on air before, but it's never been more true than this year.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about now.
Which is the craziest thing because every year it seems like it's getting more and more of a crapshoot. But looking at it now, it's we'll without giving too much away, we'll talk about that here later. But it's just like throw something at a wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, I mean that's essentially pretty much what that does. Y'all should have Tony on the show for the sports. I would love to have Tony on when we talk about the AFC. By the way, Reds up 6-0. TJ Friedel in India just hit bombs. There we go. About to sweep the Cards. Woo! All right, I'm excited here. The Reds are giving me hope, and I hate it.
Astros are up 1-0 on the Rays.
Hey.
We're about to sweep the Rays in Tampa.
Hey, Marcus.
Gotcha.
Give me my polos, then I'll talk smack. Shout out to Marcus Wisner and Double Scoop Apparel making our polos for Mosley football this year. So
oh,
shout out
sweet.
to him. No free ads.
No free ads. Everything is no free ad.
All right, so we're going to play a little 20 questions today. We went onto a website, to be honest with you, and copy and pasted a bunch of questions down. And we read, like Drew said, reading through some of them. Some of it's going to be kind of fun to go back and forth with because there are some of these that I legitimately don't know about you, and I don't think you really know much of these about me. So I'll read the first question. We'll just kind of bounce back and forth. And if you guys have put some of your answers in the comments. We have the comment thread up right now, so we'll read them out loud. If you have either questions or if you want to answer some of these questions, feel more than free. Drop them in the comments. Also, one more reminder: what do they need to do?
Share and
Hit
like
the share button. All right, first one. I mean, this is kind of easy, right? What are your hobbies? We'll start easy.
Hobbies, softball. As previously stated, it's hard to pull me away from a softball game. I try to stay as active as possible as I get older. So, because I've always been told the moment you stop doing it is the moment you lose it. So, as long as I can keep my body moving, I already have a pretty physically demanding job. I wouldn't say it's as bad as it was before, but if I can stay active and stay running and hitting a softball, playing the camaraderie, I'm very competitive. If I can keep doing that until a pretty good age, I'll be happy.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're kind of looking at it. Honestly, making content and just being on camera or on a microphone, I would say that's probably my top hobby. I mean, I've really overbooked myself with some of this stuff at times. I do the show here, then I do the show with David Hayes, ESPN on Thursdays, and then starting next week, starting back with Mosley football every Thursday or Friday night for the next 10 to 12 weeks. So
then that god awful Garnet and Gold podcast you
yeah,
have,
yeah, Know It All podcast as well. So
did you ever find a second?
Yes, I'm gonna make the announcement soon. I'm basically testing this person's dedication.
Okay.
I'm waiting on them to listen to the last episode.
And no one else knows that process more than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once you gain Kyle's trust on a mic, you're set.
Yeah.
But getting there is one of the roads that you have to figure out, and he leaves it completely up to you.
Yeah, pretty much. It's I mean, I guess I do have kind of a difficult vetting process when it comes down to this, but you got to be at least,
especially whenever you've got, number one, you have a following, and number two, you already have the infrastructure from the following and from this setup. Right. You kind of have to.
Right.
Because you already know you can go in by yourself and do it, i.e. last year. but it's always better when you have two, and it's easier when you have two. So I don't fault you. So go right ahead.
No, we've
step your step, big fella.
We've always found that 3 has kind of always been the magic number, right?
Yes.
I mean, 3's always been the kind of the magic number because it gives you one person can have a mental night off. Now, if every like let's say we're going back and forth tonight, if one of us is having a mental night off, then it's going to be kind of a rough show, right? And it's going to happen eventually. It's just going to happen.
What's your hobby? I like doing podcasts.
I like turtles.
I like turtles.
But when you have, a third person, like when we had Nick Gurley and we did the No Purpose podcast for a short time, I wish that podcast would have worked out. I wish our schedules could have lined up.
Yes.
Because that was, I think, my favorite piece of content that we've done was on there when we had a mental health episode.
And that's what I envision this being.
Yeah.
From that standpoint, because I really enjoyed the diversity that we were able to talk about on that platform, because whenever it was the Right On Sports show, it was sports the whole time,
right?
And then whenever we opened the door with the No Purpose podcast, it was literal no purpose. We'd start with something, and by the end of the show, we've talked about 4 or 5 things, or we've stuck with the same thing. It just whatever we wanted to talk about on that given night. And so and we've branched out with different topics other than just sports, and that's what makes me most excited, because I don't want to be looked at and pigeonholed as just a sports podcast, just a sports show, just a sports guy in today's world. I want to be multifaceted and just have fun with it, because not everything we talk about is sports. We talk about stuff in day-to-day life, especially with each other, being as good of friends as we are. So I think it's very big that we're able to do that with a mic in front of us as well. Yeah. And who knows, something that me and you talk about on a daily basis is something that someone's listening or watching and going, man, I really needed to hear that.
I've gotten so much feedback from the church episode that we did. And I actually have run into a lot of people that are like, hey, I want to watch your show. And I'm like, this is the one to watch. Like, if you want to go back and watch something that we did, because we had 4 people on that show. And, I guess you didn't necessarily have a night off, but you had a night off of the microphone that night, because you didn't do a lot of talking. But when you did, you delivered, and like everybody on that show that night, me, you, Tina, David, everybody was firing on all cylinders, and the content was incredible, and it was just an incredible conversation. So, yeah, dude, when you can have a conversation like that, it just makes this so much more fun than it is.
It's beautiful, and I love it.
I made that sound bad. It makes it way more fun. All right,
way more funner.
Let's go through some comments here. Brian Graham, I hope Iowa is better than last year. We were a quarterback away from going unbeaten in the regular season. I think Iowa has been a quarterback away for 20 years.
That sounds like LSU from the early 2000s into the 2010s. And then we got Joe Burrow, and all of a sudden now we're in the 21st century.
Yeah. We are going to talk about that AP poll here in a little bit, so stick around, Brian. Kerry Simonson, hey, bro. Hello. Johnny Fitzgerald, Magic the Gathering. That's his big hobby. I love that. I used to be really big into I used to be really big into like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff. So yeah, I used to be, but I don't know what happened.
Magic the Gathering.
It's a card game. It's essentially. I mean, I don't want to misplay. Give us a small summary of what Magic. It's essentially. Oh God, I'm not doing that. It's World of Warcraft if it was a card game. Is kind of what I was gonna say. But I don't think that I'm sure that somebody who's big into the lore of one of those games is probably cussing me out right now. So
there's a
Shelby,
get out of there. There's a game that I used to have on my phone called Hearthstone. It was kind of like that. You played. Dave played it. It's kind of like that. Like World of Warcraft, you have like these guys that have special powers and whatnot, and you play it against that person. It's a one-on-one game, but I thought it was the funnest thing ever. And I hate that now it has. I think it's a pay to play ad game. And I'm like, man, this just took away from the fun of everything. Yeah. I just want to be able to just play, and I get it's always a business. But at the end of the day, like some of these games are getting taken out because they're just not fun anymore because you're having to stop and watch an ad every now and then.
It's truthfully really upsetting because I really feel like I could get into some of these. Like Marvel Snap is a Marvel card game that's an app, and I hate pay to play.
Yeah.
I hate what did South Park call it? Freemium gaming. It's
Yep.
like it's free, but you're gonna spend hundreds of dollars if you want to be competitive or if you want to actually have a good time playing it. So
Will Dilt saying Lord of the Rings meets Pokemon.
I mean I think that's a fair assessment. That's World of Warcraft.
Beyblades.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I haven't thought about those in a
Beyblades.
long time.
Holy cow. Leroy Jenkins. Shout out to World of Warcraft on that one. I love that. All right. Do you collect anything? Sorry, I should have let you read that one, but
Do you collect anything, Kyle?
I do. Well, if you'll take your camera and pan over there to them doors, there's a couple missing for a few reasons. I have children, and I've worn a few over the last couple of days. They're not all of those slots are supposed to be full, but I'm sure you could look at the rack and tell that some of them are supposed to be full. I'm a hat guy. I love hats, bro. Like
Yeah.
I really want another one of those full. I just it's hard to convince the wife sometimes because hats now are like $40 when they drop, and it's like holy cow.
Well, for me, it goes back to the first question. It's what is my hobby? I play a lot of softball. I collect a lot of softball bats.
Those are more expensive than hats.
Yes,
folks.
I have probably 6 to 8 bats sitting at my house right now, and I know the usual statement. Oh no, you can only use one when you go up to bat. But hey, sometimes different tournaments call for specific bats and specific compression. Won't go into deep detail about that because not many people care about that. But
not many people that play care about that.
yeah. So this was actually one of Michaela's answers for me. I was like, I don't really collect anything. She goes, softball bats? They're laying in the corner. But here recently, like I used to be another answer for me about collecting things. Before I moved here, I collected shoes, but I also not for like keeping and selling or anything like that or whatever. It was specifically to wear. Like if I found a pair of shoes that I thought was cool, I'd go out and buy them and wear them. But whenever I moved here, obviously living in Florida, you don't wear that many different pairs of shoes. You wear flip-flops and tennis shoes, and that's pretty much about it, and your church shoes. But I also started working in construction, so I didn't want to wear a whole bunch of tennis shoes, get them dirty. There was no sense. I just stopped buying tennis shoes. And so then now that I have a job where I can branch out a little bit better and show up for work in a pair of shoes that I don't have to worry about them getting trashed in a day, I've started buying a little bit more. And because my boss is also, he's encouraging me because he's also a shoe guy. So actually, I'm wearing a pair of Yeezys that I bought. They are so comfortable, and found them. If you're looking for some Yeezys, they have them pretty decently priced on eBay.
Shout out to Kanye for being crazy enough to get decently priced.
Yeah, they are so comfortable. And when I tell you they are probably the most comfortable pair of shoes I've ever worn, I love, and these are used and they are comfortable. So I guess I'm getting back into a time where I collect shoes. So shoes and softball bats for me.
My mom says you are to hats like most girls are to shoes and or purses.
Hey, I guess I'm a female then.
Yeah. What SpongeBob? Am I a pretty girl? Johnny Fitzgerald, hats for sure. I had over 500, but I had to get rid of a few. Golly, 500
few?
hats. Yeah, a few.
What does that mean?
And then just some back and forths, having fun in the comments over there. Pick one out, Drew. We don't have to go in order.
Frankie found a stack of Pokemon cards when I lived in Alabama. Oh, you didn't mean that one. Okay.
Oh, sorry. No,
Let's go. What is your most prized possession?
Oh, that's golly. I probably should have vetted some of these to come up with some answers. I don't necessarily have anything like that right now. To be 100% honest with you,
when I was going through it, I kind of was dumbfounded on it, and the funny answer that I came up with, but it's also kind of true. I say the funny answer because I said it funny to my wife, but it's also kind of true. It's my wife.
Yeah,
and for you, it's wife and kids. So for me, it's like I guess my wife and my dogs, because I don't know where I'd be, what I'd do without them.
Right.
So I guess because everything these days can be replaced.
Someone's going to clip this and say that we were claiming to be possessive over our wives.
Oh, good. Now that you put it out there, Kyle Albritton's taking care of it right now.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Where's the vomit, right?
There you go. Oh, thanks, Shelby. She's actually on my side here.
Not his kids or wife or anything. No, I guess if I were to go with material, I guess I'd just look around you. I mean, I'm technically in possession of my grandfather's home.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool, man, to be able to take over this and put, it's actually a really crazy story because we were in here about 2 years ago. Rachel and I were walking around right after Ezra was born. And we were like, man, this house would be perfect for us, like something like this. And then, it ended up working out like that. So thanks, Pops. All right. So we talked a little bit about this when we did our hot wing challenge, but I want to go to this one. What is on your bucket list? Like if I were to say your like two or three of your top things.
We talked about it there. It was go to Greece.
Yeah.
Everything was brief story. Everything was ripped out from under us during the pandemic. Weren't able to go, so we're still in the works of getting there. I want to be at a national championship game for LSU or the Saints or Houston. Whenever they win their respective title, I want to be able to, number one, I know this is kind of twofold, but number one, have enough money to be able to put forth to do that. And number two, I want to see my team be good enough to do it.
Right. I think, even you could always experience it with the rest of the fan. Like, even if you can't get into the stadium, there's going to be huge watch parties on the outside.
Yes.
So that would also be just as good, almost, in my opinion. Okay, top two on my bucket list. I'll kind of go one sports, one non-sports. One of them's super easy to do. I just have to get down there. The top one, I talked about the one on the show. I want to go see a game with my dad at Great American Ballpark, so I won't do that one. I want to see all my teams play a home game. I am not quite there. I just have one trip to Miami to go. I've seen Florida State play. I've seen Tampa Bay play. I've seen obviously Florida State has played.
The Reds.
I've seen the Reds play a home game. So I've just got the Heat and the Dolphins, and I really feel like I can knock that out in one weekend if I time it right. So, and the other one, man, it can be done on the same trip. I want to catch a peacock bass.
Okay.
I've always wanted to catch a peacock bass. It's catch and release. Just want to catch a beautiful bass like that. Those are, they're gorgeous. So two things that really could be accomplished in a 5-day weekend trip.
Yeah.
A Wednesday to Sunday trip, Thursday to Monday, because NFL's on Sundays. But
that would be one hell of a trip.
Yeah, no, but I feel like it's accomplishable because that's where peacock basses are. They're down in the South Florida.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's
just don't get an iguana in your toilet.
Well,
Jeff Darlington.
We were in Key West back in 2021, I think. Yeah, I think it was 2021. We went down to Key West. And, dude, iguanas everywhere. I always thought it was a joke. No, really. It's a real thing. They're everywhere.
It's a real thing. Well, we got on a cruise out of Fort Lauderdale, and I shit you not, dude. They are everywhere. But
bucket list number one for Will Dittman, snow playoff game at Lambeau.
Well, they got to make it there first.
Well, but that's still like a freezer bowl kind of game. Like that would be cool as hell, honestly.
The Saints play up there the Monday night of Christmas week this year.
Oh.
And I talked with my buddy about trying to get out to go there. And he was like, unless I sell 4 houses this year, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go. Because he also said he wasn't going to go to a Packers game at Lambeau unless he was going to be able to take his dad and pay for his ticket and do all that. And I was like, yeah, I commend that. I would also do the same thing for myself, for my dad. But I was like, yeah, sell 4 houses and then we'll talk.
No, that's fair. Kyle Albritton, attend a World Cup, attend a game at every SEC school. That's growing every year. You better get those in. I've never been on a plane and only been to Georgia and Bamley.
What?
You never wait like beyond Florida. You've been to Gainesville, obviously, as a Gator fan, right? I would think. Yeah. Carrie says, I want to go to an FSU football game. We live 25 minutes from the stadium. Make it happen this year. Johnny Fitzgerald, go to a Super Bowl. You better sell one of your kids. Shelby, I don't know what but you know what I mean.
I want to go on a cruise too. Cruises are fun. If you've never been on one, literally you pay up front, you get on board, and everything's exclusive.
I missed the travel to one foreign country part. I stopped at SEC school and saw that he's only been to Georgia and Bama. I thought that meant he's only been to games at Georgia and Bama.
Oh,
he wants to go to a foreign country. I don't know. I would also like to travel outside
states,
of America.
not the schools.
Yeah. All right, what you got? No, that was yours, huh? No, that was mine. Go ahead.
What is your favorite recent memory?
Well, January 19th. I'm just it's my wreck.
There's a Ram.
Yeah, no. not Aaron Donald. Got hit like Aaron Donald though. It was about the same. Favorite recent memory.
Oh, she said all for the iguanas.
All for the iguanas. No, they were everywhere.
Yeah.
What's your favorite recent memory? While I brainstorm on here.
Sunday, this past Sunday, just a few days ago. My parents like I said, my parents were in town, and that was the first day that I didn't have to work, or I went out to Pensacola on Saturday and played softball while they were here because it was a state tournament. But Sunday, woke up, drove over to Destin, went to our favorite brunch place over there, Ruby Slipper. No free ads.
Love that place. Yeah, yes. Ruby Slipper. There's one in Destin. They're close enough to advertise.
There's Sandestin and Destin.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, really good. Then we kind of walked around there, just shopped in this Baytown Wharf area, and then we ended up going to the for the tax-free weekend. Ended up going over to the Nike outlet. I bought 2 more pair of shoes.
It's got to be nice to just be able to do that. I wear a size 15. That's not really a possibility. This
is also true. I'm a 9.5. Nice and easy for me, big fella. And then we went over to. They've got a indoor putt rainforest. Indoor, because it was about 99 degrees and it was indoor. So that was nice. We had a nice round of putt. Dad won.
That was here in Destin.
Destin.
Okay.
There's also one here in PCB.
Wondering how much that one costs.
Found that out. I don't know, Michaela. I was BSing with Dad in the back. We were pushing each other around, and next thing you know, we're grabbing sticks and saying, "Okay, we're going." But yeah, and then we went over to Stinky's Fish Camp. Had a nice place. Little early afternoon. We were the first people sat because we got there so early. They didn't start sitting till like 5:30.
Wow!
But we beat the old fellers. Had that, and then we went home and played a nice 20-turn game of Mario Party.
20-turn.
And I won.
20-turn game of Mario Party.
Yeah, it was a blast. But Sunday was like absolute heaven. I woke up the next day and looked over at Michaela, and as we're like both wee hours of the morning getting ready for work, and I was just like, I don't want my parents to leave. That was too fun.
Every time we have anything here like that, like Carson's birthday party next weekend, and then back, what did we do here with the Mother's Day thing that you stopped by for, and then of course the thing we did for my birthday too that you were unfortunately up in Nashville for that. But I always look forward to those because they're always just such good times. We've been doing this wiffle ball thing out in the yard the last couple of times. People have come out, and that's been a lot of fun. I would say my favorite, most recent memory, this is a funny one, actually. So shout out to John Wagner at work. Just one of the funniest guys in the world, man. He's in his lower 60s. He's been in the restaurant industry his whole life. He He's a hilarious dude, and he's kind of taken me under his wing a little bit and has taught me an awful lot about the industry and a lot about life. But so he usually works in the back of the house, and here recently, him and I have gotten a little tighter. So he started coming out and working the bar with me on Monday nights. And one night, his first ever night on the bar, we were towards the end of the night, and you know what story I'm about to tell. And it's just because I've never laughed this hard in my life, dude. So I'm polishing wine glasses, and if you've ever been to Angelina's, there's a dining room in the back, and then there's a dining room in the front. Well, obviously, we're here at the end of the night. We're like 5 minutes from close. There's only one table left in the restaurant, so they're in the front. Like, so, if we're having a conversation at the bar, if it's quiet enough in the restaurant, they can likely hear us. Okay. So I'm polishing wine glasses with my back turned to this table. And, everything's going on. And all of a sudden, John's in the middle of a conversation, stops mid-conversation, and just rips one. It's pretty loud. But then he continues talking.
To the table or you?
To me. Well, we're talking to each other. So I'm laughing. So I start laughing because he just nonchalantly stopped in the middle of his sentence. And then I look over at him, and he's gone. And I'm like, where the hell did he go? And then I turn, and that table is fucking staring like through me, bro. Like every single person at that table is staring a hole through me. They 100% think that I'm the one that did it. And so I like low crawled out of the bar, out from behind the bar. And I'm like, no way, dude. There's no way you did that. And it was, dude, I'm telling you, it was the loudest fart ever. And it was, I don't know. I guess you really just had to be there, but it's the hardest I've ever laughed. And then, so the table leaves, and we start talking about it and laughing about it. And then, fucking lo and behold, out of the bathroom, two of the family members come. I had no idea they were in the bathroom. So they just come out and they quietly walk out of the restaurant. I know they heard it. He says they didn't hear it. I know that's bullshit. They 100% heard that fart, dude. That was honestly, man, just easy to answer that one because it was just hilarious.
But before you you move on to the next question, I do want to get Johnny's up here. It says went to one of my best friends who recently passed away. Went to his mom's house on Mother's Day and did a bunch of yard work for her and just talked about my friend and all the stories we had with him. And I just wanted to touch on that because as you found out today and from January 19th, like life is short. Don't forget to hug your loved ones. Don't forget to love the people that tell the people you love them. Like life is short.
Yeah. 100%. It's scary sometimes, man. I've been thinking about it, like, honestly, because there's a picture of one of the vehicles from the accident, and I just, since that picture was sent to me in the last, like, 30 minutes, I guess it's been about an hour now, but I've been, like, shook, like, that could have been my brother.
Yeah.
One car difference, and that's my brother. But it was somebody's kid,
Yeah.
And that's terrible. What is your favorite holiday? This one's pretty cool.
I'm a fatty, so it's Thanksgiving.
Beans, greens, potatoes.
It's definitely Thanksgiving for me because that's also the holiday that I go back up and see my parents more conveniently. So
we'll go ahead and put it out there that's probably our next Wednesday off.
Yeah,
it's Thanksgiving week.
Be able to go up there and see my parents and you name it. Go up and see my parents and we play in an annual turkey bowl. So I
love that. I wish I could come up there one year to play in that.
It's fun. It's 5-on-5 indoor. Starts at like 6 o'clock. First games are at like 6 at night. And then the championship game is usually scheduled for like 2:30, 3 o'clock. And it's just a blast the whole night.
So Thanksgiving always was the holiday, and I think it still is. But honestly, man, since I've had kids, Christmas is easily my favorite holiday now. And it's just being able to see, Carson's reactions to Santa Claus coming overnight and being able to participate in something like that. And I don't know, man. It just gives you a bigger purpose in life and seeing
them
that
cookies,
getting them getting to eat them cookies. And babe, if you're watching this around Carson, I'll give you 5 seconds to mute it. Okay, so this year we're taking him to Disney.
Ooh,
like a couple weeks before Christmas. Shelby and Dave are going as well, and we're gonna get to see. They do like a big Christmas party with fake snow falling, and
yeah,
it's gonna be really cool. So yeah, Christmas for me is just awesome, just awesome.
So, where is the one that I was looking for? Because it was a good one that I saw. Tell me about your longest running friendship with someone.
Okay, so I think my longest running friendship is with Patrick Super. Became friends like back in 2006 or 7. We don't talk as much now. I think obviously, and the same thing with Austin Raigula. Him and I have been friends since like 2009. Yeah, a couple years before graduation. Just different life paths with those guys. But, no love lost for them. Still some of my best friends in the whole world. But honestly, I guess I would say for consistent friendship, like we talk all the time. Scott Hollins.
Scotty too hottie.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott and I have been like best friends for 10 years now.
Yeah. In each other's weddings.
Yeah, best mans at each other's weddings. I was involved in both of his. So
wow. 2-time groomsman.
Had to stand by him twice. And I hope the third one I get to do it.
Hope the third one you're officiating.
Yeah, I did tell him at the third one. I literally told him I'm officiating his third wedding.
Fourth one, I'm sitting. I'm out. I'm doubtful.
What about you?
For me, it's got to be my best friend from high school, Debo.
Told us about him last time. He was like a 30
DeAndre
minute name, right?
DeAndre Elijah Rashay Markel Davis.
Say that 10 times really fast.
Dog, I don't have enough breath. But yeah, it was my summer workouts going into high school, going for football for summer workouts. And I showed up one day, first day of workouts, and coach is yelling at everybody, get out of the locker room, go into the weight room. So we all line up, get in our spots in the weight room, and he was like, all right, pair up into teams of 2, because we had half the team that was going through agility drills, and then half the team was going to be in the workout. And so I go, and I'm walking around, and everybody's looking at me because I'm one of the last few people that didn't have a partner. So I'm walking around, and next thing you know, I come across this little skinny kid, and he's just sitting there with a black tank top and purple shorts, and he's just off in a corner. And I was like, hey, do you need a partner? He goes, yeah, you can work out with me. And I was like, all right, cool. So we start working out, and I'm doing squats. And lo and behold, like we had a mirror in front of us, I see the head coach come around the corner, and 1 minute I'm going down and I'm paying attention to how low I'm going for my squat. And as I get back up, I look up, and Debo's gone. My spotter's gone. And I was like, okay. So I just keep going about my reps. About a minute later, I get done with my set, put it up, and I turn around, and Debo's coming around the corner. He's got a gray Spring Hill football shirt and maroon shorts. Purple was the color of our rival high school, and all I heard was Coach Sharsh yelling at him, if I ever see you wear purple in this school again, I'm hanging you from the flagpole by him. And I was like, oh, my God. No way.
Holy cow, what happened there? They all came back in, huh?
Doubled up.
Okay.
So from that day, we were workout friends. We've been best friends ever since. Debo's been he was in my wedding. I was able to, whenever I went back up for my 10-year reunion, I was able to talk with him a little bit. He walked up to me. We've always been close enough that he considers me a brother. And I've got a post on my Instagram about like our friendship and whatnot, and how close we had gotten through high school. And we consider each other brothers so much that his dad still to this day calls me his son.
I love that.
And and it was very touching. I went to his college graduation and went out to lunch with them. Like, I even looked at them and I was like, no, they were like, oh, we're going to lunch. You want to come out? And I was like, I don't want to impose. You got your whole family here. He go, and his dad grabs me by the shoulder and goes, no, you're coming. You're family.
I love that.
Paid for my meal and everything because I was family.
Love that more.
Took care of everything. And I was just like blown away by how his family loves me so much. And even still, like, I went back for my 10-year reunion. And he walked up to me and he was like, my brother, gave me a big old dap up. We hugged and I was like, good to see you, buddy. I still see him every year. We still talk. We send reels to each other and whatnot. But he had told me he was with his girlfriend and he was telling me about how he was going to be on the same page as me and Michaela. And I was like, all right, well, I hope I get an invite. He goes, an invite? Boy, you gonna be standing right next to me.
I love that.
I was like, that's my boy. I love you,
that.
Debo.
I love that, man. Let's see. Shelby said, I sure do remind me to tell you the Christmas cookie story off the air. All right.
Okie.
Yeah. There's context to that with the eyeball emoji. There's context to that. It's another hilarious story. One of my least proud moments. Johnny Fitzgerald, I've been playing a Turkey Bowl tournament for the past 15 years with a couple friends. And then Brian Graham is public announcer buddy. For 35 years, they've been friends. 20-year anniversaries for Kyle Albritton and Johnny Fitzgerald. That's
wow.
No, you do not want to hear that story, Carrie. No, that's not a story that we just tell.
Good for you, fellers.
All right. Whose opinion do you care about the most? And I want to throw a little bit of I'm going to throw a stick in the tire here and say that wives are ineligible.
Wives are ineligible. Me being a people pleaser, the cop-out answer is everybody.
That's fair. Same.
And it's crazy because I do care what everyone thinks about me. Obviously, bosses, you want them to think highly of you. And then my closest friends, they're those people like you, and Dave Hayes. Like, they're different people. Here in recent weeks, Josh Myers, he has really stepped up from a friendship standpoint, looking out for our softball teams that we run together, and he's picked up a lot of the slack as I have slacked off, per se, because I've had a lot going on with my parents being in town. And then even before that, work was picking up and was crazy.
You're still technically at a new job.
Right. Exactly. So, only been there since April. And I was basically like day one, handed the keys to the kingdom and was said, here, figure it out. Which has been exciting and it's more money, but it's definitely been stressful. And whenever things don't go right, I'm like, oh, I'm the guy that I'm supposed to be calling to figure this out. Great. But at the end of the day, it's my closest friends, and Josh has worked his way into there.
No, I love that. Josh Myers, good guy. I see the group chat cussing him out for softball, by the way. Did he mark himself unable to play tomorrow night? Is that what that is?
I've got that group chat on mute because there are too many people in there that are service industry, and they communicate way too much throughout the day.
Love that. I guess I would say
he voted out.
Okay. Professionally, Sean O'Drain, shout out to him.
Yes.
As far as professional opinion goes, like, I really I go to him for advice on everything. Like, I go to him and I'll say, hey man, I need you to tell me I'm upset about this right now. Do I have the right to be upset about this? And he'll either say, most of the time, yes, because, I typically don't get upset about things that are nothing. Believe it or not, that's a strength of mine that I guess I've worked on a lot over the last couple of years. But so Sean, in the professional standpoint and personal, cop-out answer, I guess I'll go with my dad. I call my dad for advice on a lot of stuff, and it's the same thing. I'm like, hey man, this is how I think I want to deal with this. I need you to either talk me off the ledge, or I need you to tell me that I'm not crazy for thinking this. And we've had some conversations like this over the last couple of weeks that have been a little more difficult, political stuff. So, but yeah. So those are the two. And yours, of course. I mean, obviously, as far as content goes,
we both we bounce each other we play well off each other. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't. But also, we bounce ideas off of each other, and we kind of help each other along because we both. I think in recent weeks we've both come to each other with like half ideas,
Right.
and the other half has helped get it where it needs to be for it to be presentable.
I guess that's the downside, the only downside to having a show about nothing, right?
Yeah.
Is that sometimes it's like last week even it was so easy to call the show off because it's like, well, I mean, it's not like we had anything really planned. So it was, and we kind of came up with this a couple days ago just to kind of burn a week, right? I mean, you haven't seen Deadpool yet, so we couldn't talk about Deadpool. Sorry. You're not really huge into the Marvel stuff anyway. By the way, Deadpool, incredible movie, top 5. Maybe I don't know. I would have to sit down and think about it. I don't know if it's top 5 MCU or not. I don't know. But best Deadpool movie though, I think. I will say this. I could tell that you value my opinion even on the softball field because I'm somebody that doesn't play a lot, but I know the game. I know the game very well. I have a great eye for the strike zone, and I have a great eye for. It's like the kind of thing like I can't play it, but I can coach it. Is one of the things I say, and like I'm able to say, Drew, you need to. I think if you scoot up in the bat or in the box a little more, you'll get a little more leverage on your swing, and then you did it, and then you crushed the ball the very next AB. So I could tell that you're not kidding about like valuing my opinion at least.
Yeah. So my next question is going to be. When did you first feel like an adult?
Oh, shit. I kind of had to do it very early. When did I feel like an adult was my senior year of high school. I was a jackass, dude. Like I went to basic training in the Army between my junior and senior year. When I came back my senior year, I was so full of myself and such a jerk that I got kicked out of my house. I got myself kicked out. But I mean, it 100% deserved it. I was, the hot, fresh 17-year-old guy in the Army. But I had to do my whole last year of high school kind of couch surfing.
Wow.
So, I mean, it was really, I think, something I'm kind of proud. I'm not proud of, like, how I got there, but I'm proud of myself for being able to get done with that. Because it was, there's a whole different story that kind of leads up to my freshman year that kind of sucked. Like I could have dropped out because we moved down from Georgia and they didn't send none of our credits that came with us were transferable. So I had to start high school over and we moved down like 3/4 of the way through our freshman year. So I had to start high school over. So I did 5 years of high school and then my senior year that happened. So really 2 times I really almost, I won't say should have, but could have dropped out and didn't. So very proud of myself for that.
For me, it's gonna, I got married, and then we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in Chattanooga. And I don't know if I'd necessarily say I felt like an adult, but it was finding a job at that point and being able to go out on my own. And I worked at it was that moment of nut up or shut up. Because my wife, Michaela, she was going to school and had already had a job because she was already living out there. And she was working at a restaurant and going to school. She had no free time. I moved out there with the promise of moving jobs within the same company, but getting an opportunity out in the Chattanooga region. Things fell through with that. They weren't hiring at the same time that I moved out there, so I was just kind of out of luck. So it was just kind of nut up or shut up in that moment where I had to look myself in the mirror and go, be a man, provide for your family. You can't just sit at home and do nothing. So I went out and applied to anywhere and everywhere that would have me and ended up finding a job with a temp agency. And I was like,
some of those temp agencies pay really well, by the way.
I ended up working at a Komatsu plant. I was in the cafeteria at a Komatsu plant. Show up for work 6 a.m. It was only part-time at the time. They weren't hiring for full-time. Whenever I left there, I ended up getting an opportunity to go with the previous company that I had worked with in the Middle Tennessee region and moved out to the Chattanooga region. I was able to move out there, but it was that moment of looking in the mirror and going, you are not only in this situation for yourself.
Right.
You are in this situation for someone else as well. And to drive things home for me, it was a couple years later that whenever we moved here, we bought a house in 2020, and like literally bought a house. And 2020, I'm 28 now. I think I was like 25 if I'm doing math correctly. Bought a house at 25. My wife is 2 years younger than me, so she's 23 years old. Whenever we bought a house, and my dad came down to help me move in, and you could see the happiness in his face seeing the house that we had bought ourselves. And just
like making your dad proud, bro.
Exactly.
Ain't nothing like that.
And by that point in time, we had already lived here with my in-laws for 2 or 3 months by that point. So I had already been working, had already had a friend group, and just the life that I had built down here at that point in time, and seeing my dad come down, and we went out to dinner one night, and it was just me and my dad, and he kind of pulled me aside, and he was like, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I'm proud of you because you've bought a house and you have a good community of friends and a nice community of friend group down here. And I just want to let you know that I'm proud of you. And it's great that you guys are so much further along than where me and your mother were at this point." And it was like a light bulb went off in my head, because immediately hearing him say that, I was like, oh, I'm ahead of the game. I'm 25 years old, own a house, work a 40-hour-a-week job. And then it was like all of my perceived problems were out the window, because I was like, it's the mindset that we get as Americans, because we live such a privileged life.
Yeah.
For what we have compared to other people, it's first world problems. We all joke about it, but first world problems. We're like, my problem is, I can't get to my podcast on time every week. At the end of the day, there are some people that don't have food. I know I'm on a soapbox here, but
no, I know.
It's a crazy mindset whenever you sit back and actually think about what the rest of the world is going through compared to what you're going through. I know I might get it's just crazy. I don't. It's a mind blowing thought process.
Got some great comments to read through, but I do want to say the first time I became a man was when I held Carson, when he was born. That was the. When it was like, okay, it's time to figure some shit out. Because I obviously did not have my feet underneath me. Will Dittman had a comment up there that I really loved. There is a fine line between feeling like and acting like an adult. I felt like an adult when I had my first kid. As far as acting like an adult, the jury is still out. Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that. But no, I mean, he's 100% right in the realistic aspect of that too. Like, that's why I wanted to circle back and say, that's when I felt like an adult for the first time. But I know I became a man August 27th, 2018. Like that was no doubt. Tyler Spalding, I think the first time I felt like an adult was when I moved into my new house in Crestview when I got my baseball scholarship. It didn't include housing, so I found this chick on Craigslist. Didn't pay rent one time in 6 months, but I had to buy my own groceries. The first time Winn-Dixie by myself sucked. Man, Tyler Spalding also commented up top a little bit ago saying Kyle's senior year was a whole different thing. I'm telling you, I was not mentally there, bro. Like I was in a difficult situation that I put myself into. Tyler Spalding actually helped me buy something that I never should have purchased ever in my life, but Tyler Spalding did help me do that. And I was really bad to a lot of people, man, that I never should have been bad to. But Tyler, man, if you're still watching, if you're out there, bro, I got to tell you that I am proud of you. I love watching you. Like, he's the first person I go to for meteorology advice, because he's been passionate about that as long as I've known him. Same thing, junior, senior year of high school. So 10 or 11 years for Tyler Spalding, I've known him, and he's always been passionate about the weather and just following all that. And, used to rip him out. We used to call him Tyler Weatherman Spalding. And we used to give him shit about that, but I mean, that's really Tyler Weatherman Spalding, bro. Like that's who that guy is to me. And I got a lot of love for you and I respect you, bro. Much love. And then there was another comment, Bo Green, at 19, my mother got really sick and had to help her and my dad. Bo's mom, passed away very young when he was very young. I had had the privilege. That's how I met Bo, was playing church softball with him and his dad, Bo, Mr. Bo, what we called him. I called him Big Bo. And then his stepmom, who I think he just embraces as his mother now, Miss Tammy. She's awesome as well. So love you, Bo. Man, that's a
good people.
He's a great dude also. But man, that's a tough situation to find yourself in. I would imagine that's you got to grow up right there, man.
Yeah.
What is the one thing that will instantly make your day better?
A text message from Kyle Wright.
Oh, 7:30
tonight. This is the time where you normally tell me you're gonna be here at 8:45. Walking through my door and seeing that my dogs are excited to see me, because it's crazy. Like, I don't have kids, and it's just great to see. And it was it was reinforced by my parents, because they were home during the day while I was at work, and that my dad had even said it. He was like, I've never seen a pair of dogs more excited to see their owners than these two. And it's like, as soon as they hear the door slam, or even think that they have it timed to when we're coming home, and they will look out the window and look for us, and as soon as they see it, they're both getting their toys, waiting for us at the door, wagging their tails, and they're just so excited to see us. And it's a great feeling, and being able to walk in, it makes me leave whatever bad day I had at the door.
Yeah, anytime my kids are with, I often don't really get to see them during the week, just because my work schedule is so weird and different. Like right now, I'm missing go to bed time for this, but which is obviously expected. But getting to see pictures of them, videos of them, like while I'm at work, because work, especially the environment I work with, when you work around customers and you work in the food industry, it can be so fucking taxing and stressful. Yes. And it's at times, man, you just you don't really feel like this isn't worth it. And then you get the pictures of them, and it's like, okay, it's 100% worth it. Will Dittman shares that sentiment. When I come home from work and see the kids. Shelby says, when Dave gets home from being gone all week, instant smile. No, I mean, yeah. So Dave works in Georgia from like Monday to Thursday every week. So he comes home late Thursday nights and then gets a 3-day weekend with Shelby. But she's home alone from like early Monday to late Thursday. So
she's out on the golf simulator. All right, cool. And I bet that swing is fire.
Yeah, no, she better have a good swing by now. They say a dog actually learns the sound of your car coming down the road. That's pretty cool.
I believe it.
Brian Graham, when my 10-year-old son runs through the kitchen without saying a word and bump rushes you with a big hug and asks you about your day, good or bad. Nah, man, that's with kids, that's a whole different world, bro. And I will also say, seeing that the Cincinnati Reds are on the verge of sweeping the shitbirds of St. Louis will also
Josh
make any
Tucker.
day better. Not sorry, Josh Tucker. Enjoy third place. We're about to have sole possession in second place.
What is the most important decision you have ever made so far?
This one's actually fun because my dad, I was living with him back in, when did late 2012, early 2013. Rachel and I started dating in May of 2013. In February or March of that year, my dad decided that they were going to move to Georgia. And I had a decision to make because I just met this girl that I think it's going to work out, that I think I might have a chance with, and I really like her. So instead of moving to Georgia, I decided to try to find a couch surf again. And this is after graduation. I decided to couch surf and give it a shot with this girl. And obviously, here we are. I mean, it worked out. But I would say that's the most important decision I ever made. Some would even say it was probably a stupid decision at the time. It was crazy. I'm big into sports, get a chance to move to Georgia, get a chance to be in a bigger market. This is, I've always known what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And look at this. I found myself in a position now where I get to do what I want to do. So,
yeah.
I mean, I credit that to God, and I 100%, that's the one. That's always the one.
Along that same sentiment, it's somewhat of the same story for me. It's the moment that I knew that I was gonna be with my wife, because my goal in life always was to play college football. My dream in life. I've always wanted to play college football, but being 5'8" doesn't really pan out for that.
Still go to Miami. They got a dude there
Coral
that's been there
Gables
for like
community.
12 years.
So I had gone to a year at Tennessee Tech, and once football was off the table, I just stopped going to classes, didn't really care, got really good at ping pong, and then moved back in with my parents and just kind of didn't know what to do with the rest of my life. And my mom looked at me and she was like, okay, you've got till the end of the month. It was already the 20th. She goes, you've got till the end of the month to get a job or else. Ended up finding 2 jobs, started working there, and then ended up lucking into getting a position at a physical therapy office. Previously, I had worked at 2 different restaurants, got the job with the physical therapy office, and I was done on my late days. I was done at 6:30. So I got my nights back, leaving, because normally with being the new guy, they're going to put you on the crap shifts at Applebee's and the other restaurant I won't name because they're no longer in business.
Oh.
No free ads.
So we'll advertise the one that is still getting business. And
No,
can
that
still
place
give
closed
us-
down.
Applebee's? No, you mentioned Applebee's. Like, they are still open.
Both of them closed down.
This particular Applebee's closed
Yeah.
down. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought no free ads, but we'll mention the one that still makes money and that could spend money on advertising, but
Yeah.
we won't mention. Is this other company still in business?
No.
Is it Red
It
Lobster?
was a mom and pop shop.
Okay, never mind. Okay.
So,
Let's say Flavor Flav tried to save Red Lobster, right?
So I ended up I ended up with Debo, ended up getting back into coaching Little League football. Like, I was coaching 5, 6, and 7-year-olds, and that was a blast. Seeing little kids like that run around, and could you imagine Carson playing football? That's what I had 12 of them. It was a blast. So ended up falling back in love with football. Got a shot to go out to ETSU in Johnson City, and had a buddy on the team who was going to help me get a shot to play on the team. Things didn't end up working out, and I'm sitting at a Charlie Subs, no free ads, and ended up having another nut up or shut up moment. I had 3 different choices. I could either stay on my buddy's couch, and he had a roommate. There were 4 people in a 4-bedroom apartment, and in a college town, each bedroom had their own bathroom. All 4 of them were cool with me staying on their couch in their little living area, staying on their couch until I can find out. But I was not.
Right. Yeah.
I could either stay on their couch until the dorms could get me in. I could either forget about football and just focus on school, find a job, and find a place to live, or I could move to Chattanooga where Michaela was going to school, because we had been dating for 7-8 years by that point, and I was tired. She was in Chattanooga, I was in Middle Tennessee, or she was in Chattanooga, I was in Johnson City. So I had been 3 to 4 hours away from her for like the last 3 years of our relationship. And at that point, it was just getting real old, not being with your loved one, with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
So that day, I walked to the bursar's office, said I'm withdrawing from classes, got whatever money I could, packed up my car, drove back to my parents. Had already figured out, I was like, I'm moving to Chattanooga, and I'm going to marry Michaela. Got back home, told my parents my plan. My mom looked at me. She was like, well, are you guys going to live together? And I was like, yeah, that's the plan. I mean, it would make more sense. She had 3 roommates. I'm not going to pay that much rent for a place for just myself, especially if she's going to be staying over all the time, because she didn't want to. She had 2 roommates that were crazy, not crazy, but it's college. So why would she spend the night anywhere else other than my place? So my mom looked at me and goes, well, we'd feel a whole lot more comfortable if you guys were going to live together if y'all were married. And I said, okay, let's start that process. Let's do it. So we started that process, and that was the leaving college and leaving my football dream to pursue a new dream was probably my biggest decision, most impactful decision.
Love that.
We're getting real deep.
Yeah, dude. We lead down the same path, really. I mean, it's just like for a girl.
Yeah.
Right? How many bad decisions for those did it take to get to the good one?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, and once you got that one, stick with it. Whatever you got to do.
Let's do one more piece here, and then we'll. I'm gonna push these to the bottom of the show sheet, and I have idea to pitch to you for later for maybe like the question of the week from here on, or something like that.
I like that.
All right. What is the? No, I don't like that one as much as I thought I did. Now that I'm thinking about it a little more.
What skill would you most like to learn?
I mean, so honestly, this one's hard to answer because I could learn any skill if I really wanted to. What skill do I wish I had time to really sit down and figure out? I really would like to be able to work on my car myself.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I can go to YouTube University and do all that shit, but honestly, man, being a big guy, little tight spaces in the cars and being 100 degrees outside, I truthfully don't have the desire to even like, I have the desire to, but I don't have the ethic to put in to figure it out.
Hold that light, Carson.
Yeah,
Don't move.
Yeah. I really do wish that I had the ability to work on my own vehicle when something went wrong.
Yeah, I feel that.
Or to diagnose a problem myself.
I now that you say that, I agree wholeheartedly, but for the sake of answering these, I think it'd be pretty cool to learn how to fly. Be a pilot. I think it'd be pretty cool to not only be able to do it whenever you want and like have a plane to, I want to go to Las Vegas this weekend. All right, let's go. Be able to do it whenever you want, but just the fact that it's a wide open, like kind of like taking a boat out. It's a wide open road. Obviously, you have to abide by restrictions and everything, but it's a wide open road up there, and it's really cool because not that many people are able to do it, but I think it would be really cool to get up and obviously flying in a plane, you get the side view. But flying the plane, you get the front view and you get to see everything. And yeah, you can see it in movies and TV shows and stuff like that. But it's one thing being a kid and seeing the cockpit and going, whoa, look at all those buttons. And then it's another thing being an adult, knowing what every button works, what every button does, and how it goes from there. So I think that would be really cool. And just getting to experience being up there and doing it.
Oh, absolutely. All right, last one. Boy.
We got to be a dad real quick.
I might have to go be a dad real quick. What family member are you closest to? And we'll close it out with that one and go talk about the AP poll.
For me, it's my little brother. We were built in, like I said.
Did you have this one marked already too?
No, I didn't have it marked.
Your cursor's there. That's funny.
It's definitely my little brother because we were, like I said, during his my best man speech at his wedding, we were built-in best friends. We're a year and a week apart, so we literally did everything together. We were, I remember as far back as back when McDonald's had play places, we would play hide and seek with each other because we were the only kids that were there, and we didn't want to hang out with anybody else except for each other. And nothing drove me more nuts than playing hide and seek with him because I would hide first, he'd find me, and then it would be my turn to go and find him. I'd find him hiding in the exact same spot that I was hiding in. And I'm like, Mom.
What's the age gap between you guys?
A year and a week.
You said that earlier. Okay.
I looked at Mom, and I remember crying to Mom going, he needs to find his own hiding place. And she was like, he just wants to be just like you. And it was just, and even still today, like we talk about, like, obviously we follow the same sports teams. We talk about that. Whenever I went up for Mom's birthday party, I wanted nothing more than to spend time with my brother. And thankfully, he's going to be able to come down in September, so I'm going to be able to spend time with him. But we're very close, and it kills me, especially after spending so much time with my family. It kills me living literally a state away from Tennessee to Florida, literally Alabama away from my parents and my brother. So it definitely drives that home, and it might be more why I'm that might play a major part in why I'm very sentimental for this episode, and it's a major change from my usual self. So take it as it comes, but I definitely I would 100% say it was my little brother.
So for me, it's Liam, my cousin Liam. And obviously, as he's 24 now, you know, and he's still young. He's going through that part of his life right now that we all went through in our I didn't really get it because I met Rachel at 21, but you know, late teens, early 20s, like you kind of go through that phase of life where you're just kind of partying it out and figuring it out, man. And he's figuring it out now. Life is tough, and a lot of the people that you think are going to be there are not, and a lot of the people that you don't expect to be there will end up being there. So, but for Liam, man, he was born. I was 8 or 9 years old, and I had my little sister, and I had my other cousin Monica, and so Shelby and Monica were kind of tight, and they had Gabby as well. She was a little younger, but. I never had anybody really to play with. And so when Liam was born, it was like I got a little brother. And it was during a tough period of my life, but it was really cool, man. And for our entire lives, he just had a birthday last week. Happy late birthday, Liam. He's never been my cousin. Is kind of where I'm going with this. He's always been my little brother, and I love him, and I'll always have his back, and I'll always be looking out for him, whether he knows it or not. We've had our ups and downs as well, like everybody will. I'm getting a little emotional too. I'm trying to suck that up a little bit. I love you, Liam.
I just saw a fly into your eye, so it's good.
Nah, I love that little boy, man. He's a grown man now, but. Shout out to him.
Always a little boy to you.
Hey, let's write down the timestamp on that one so I could send that to him.
Yeah, I got to do the same for my little brother. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I got to figure that out.
Yeah, man. He's just he's going through that point of his life now. I don't want to say he's forgotten I existed or anything, but one of the best memories I have with Liam recently is we took Papa. We took him out to lunch about this time a year ago. And we kind of knew Papa's days were limited at that point. We were like, we need to go to lunch, just the three of us. We absolutely have to. So we did. We went over to Granny Cantrell's, no free ads, but that was Papa's favorite place to eat. So shout out to him. And we went over there and had a great lunch. Just had a boys' day, and just like we sat there for like 2 hours, man. It was a great day. And I'm proud of the man that he is, and he hasn't knocked the girl up yet, which is pretty cool for 24. I know he's out there slinging. So good for Liam. Good for Liam. All right.
All right, let's get to some football talk.
Let's talk about some college football. All right. So if you stuck around this long, number one, thank you guys. Jake McGowan calling
AirPods today.
Calling Kyle Wright. Yeah. Shout out to that. Also, acknowledge me.
No.
Give me that. Shout out to Roman Reigns coming back last week at SummerSlam. Didn't get to talk about that. All right. Shelby says, I don't want the questions to end. Yeah, no.
Pay $5 for the extra overtime because the Astros are going into extra innings, 1-1 with the Rays.
You know who doesn't need extra innings?
The St. Louis Reds. Cardinals to beat the Reds.
They're up 9-2 right now, the Reds are.
Okay, never mind. India finally sparked something.
India hit a second home run, by the way.
All it took was me to walk through your door for India to get out of his 28
over 25.
0 for 25.
Yeah, over 25, which, expected for a Florida Gator to go through that kind of slump. The Florida Gators themselves are in a slump.
You heard?
You know who's not in a slump, though? The two other schools in the state of Florida. Florida State Seminoles and the Miami
UCF?
Hurricanes.
Oh,
well, I'm talking about the teams that are ranked in the AP top 25. Jeffrey, if you don't mind throwing this up, let's turn our attention here to a little college football to end this show today. So the first AP poll dropped this week, and if you're watching, here it is. Georgia number 1, Ohio State 2, Oregon 3, Texas 4, Bama 5, Ole Miss 6, Notre Dame 7, Penn State 8, Michigan 9, Florida State 10. Obviously from there, Mizzou, Utah, LSU at number 13 for Drew. Clemson at 14, Tennessee 15, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Miami, Texas A&M, Arizona, Kansas, USC, North Carolina State, and Iowa will round out the top 25. So, Drew, I want to kind of start by giving a little bit of a take on where Florida State's ranked here. We said, we kind of teased it there at the beginning. I think everything after 1 and 2 is a crapshoot.
Yeah, and I kind of teased it there. The Miami fan I was referencing was Zach Lesnar.
Yeah, read that comment from him.
My take, there shouldn't be a top 25 till week 4 or week 5. And I think it really, that makes too much sense for the NCAA to do it. But also, I think it really comes down to ratings. And we've said it on the Right On Sports Show. It makes no sense for them to put out a poll because no one knows what Arizona is going to be like this year. No one knows. Everyone assumes Ohio State has the best roster
on paper.
But what are they really going to do? And at the end of the day, some of the early season matchups is what drives all of this because Florida State has Georgia Tech. What's going to drive Georgia Tech's through the roof? Okay, they're playing the number 10 team in the nation. LSU starts with USC. USC was god-awful, and they lost the Heisman Trophy winner, the number 1 overall pick.
Right.
What is USC going to have that's going to be anything worth showing up? I'm not talking crap about USC in our upcoming game, but at the end of the day, what warrants them as the number 23 team in the nation?
Well, and I mean, there was a Miami fan also. I think it was also it was Lance Griffin who commented on that saying, that he didn't think Miami should be ranked. And I mean, as a Florida State fan, it's hard for me to sit here and say this, but Miami, if you're like I said, Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, you can flip those, whatever. Those are number 1 and 2, and I think that those are the only two sure things from there on out. Like, LSU at number 13, what the hell are they going to look like?
Exactly.
LSU could be, they could go undefeated. They could go 8-4. I wouldn't be surprised.
Lost the top 3, the number 1, two of the number 1 wide receivers in the nation. Lost the Heisman Trophy winner, Jaden Daniels. At the end of the day, what's Oregon? They lost Bo Nix.
Yeah, dude.
You lost Xavier Worthy. And not Bijan, because that was the year before. Texas. What the heck is Texas? They've had running backs go down like flies.
And I mean, and no disrespect to Texas, but their roster wasn't exactly super talented last year. I know they made the playoff. It's a whole different conversation to go into. Should they have? Could they have? But they laid an egg in the playoff. They were too slow to keep up with Washington. They just lost their top 2 running backs for the whole season.
And now they play in the SEC.
And now they're in the SEC, right? You couldn't be. I don't know, man. It's a weird thing. I don't know about Texas.
No Saban.
What about Alabama, right?
They're the biggest question mark.
Right. How do you put that roster at number 5 after everything they lost to the portal?
Ole Miss, yes, they have a great roster. But what is Lane Kiffin known for?
Not winning shit.
Losing the big game.
Yeah, no.
Notre Dame. What has Notre Dame done?
I truthfully, honestly, Florida State at number 10, and I'll just kind of spend a minute knocking my own team. It's the kind of the same argument. I mean, you just lost Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Trey Benson, Jordan Travis, Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, Tatum Bethune, Kalen DeLoach. All those guys are gone.
Best team in years.
Yeah, dude. I will still stand by it and say healthy, that was the best team in college football last year. And everyone can come at me if they want, but a healthy Florida State last year with Jordan Travis was the best team in college football last year.
I can't say anything.
Well, no, of course you can't. But I mean, all jokes aside, look what they did to Jaden Daniels. Nobody else even got close. They suffocated him. Yep. And that defense only got better as the year went on. That's a whole different conversation, though. But you lost the top contributors from that team. I don't see how anyone could look at Florida State's roster. And if you go to the Nola Doll podcast, you can go find it on my Facebook. I just did an episode about this. I am not in love with Florida State's roster by any means. I think same thing I said about LSU. I don't think Florida State has the experience to go undefeated, but I wouldn't be surprised at 10-2. I wouldn't be surprised at 8-4. Yeah. I really wouldn't. They got a tough schedule. They got to go at SMU, which I think is laughable for a lot of people. But in SMU's prove-it year coming into the ACC, SMU, formerly a powerhouse college football program, kind of working their way back after getting the death penalty. They've had a couple of great seasons. They have a great head coach. They've got a great quarterback. Yeah. Going into that environment scares me. They play at Notre Dame. They play Clemson. They play Miami, which is Doak Campbell South. But I mean, what I was going to say about Miami is if you're basing these on just roster, there's no way Miami's not a top 10 team.
Yeah, Tyler Spalding says, as an FSU fan, Miami has the talent to go 12-0 and win it all. Excuse me while I vomit. The question is going to be, do they have the discipline to do so? Insert another variable, crystal ball.
I think Mario Cristobal is a joke of a head coach. Honestly, but the guy can recruit, and he's put together a hell of a team down there. And if they can put it together, Miami is going to be somebody to fear a little bit. So I don't see how you can look at that and think number 19.
Yeah, and for me, I like where LSU's at. I like 13 because
I think middle of the pack right there, you're protected. If you lose, then nobody's going to talk shit, right?
Exactly. From that standpoint, and as well, you look as an LSU fan and as an LSU player's probably looking at it going, okay, we got a chip on our shoulder. They think we're the 13th best. We're better than those 12 others. But then also you've got a little bit of a leeway going, okay, we can beat USC, not handily, but we can beat them and still be kind of in that same little area. So I like where we're at. We have the talent to be in the top 10, but we have a lot of unprovens starting and unprovens coming because it'll be the first year for Garrett Nussmeier. Right. We've got arguably the number 3 receiver from last year, Kyron Lacey, who has all the talent in the world, but he was outshined last year with all those receivers that we had at that point in time. Then you, not to mention, the defense should get better because we stole the defensive line coach from Texas,
right,
and the defensive coordinator from Missouri. So who are both homegrown LSU boys. So I think I saw a clip the other day from the Texas D-line coach. There was something, a play was going wrong, and he goes, "You don't start till I blow my damn whistle." And he is staring face to face with a guy and blows his whistle, and the guy's like, he is bringing intensity back to LSU.
Good.
Which is very exciting from the defensive side of the ball, because if we had a defense last year, maybe we're something.
Golly, man, you look at the talent they've had on that defensive line in the last couple of years for them to, and all those guys, none of those guys have really panned out the way they were supposed to.
Yeah.
And I know, 100% agree. I want to talk about the Zach Lesnar comment, and then I want to knock one more team that's here in the top 10 because we're going to have some fun with this one. But the only reason they do these polls, bro, the only reason they do them is for money purposes, because you've got you've got what? You got number 19 Miami is going to the Swamp in week 1, right? Number 10 Florida State's playing in Dublin, Ireland with a chance to get knocked off in week 0.
Yep.
Number 1 is playing number 14. Get ready for that, right? Number 20 is playing number 7, and number 23 and 13 are going head-to-head on the opening weekend of college football. That's the only reason they do these polls, man, is so they have a little bit of value to try to sell, but I think most of us kind of see through that at this point. Oregon at number 3 is fun, but the one I want to talk about, who the fuck looked at Michigan and said top 10 team? I want to talk to that guy, because I know they're the defending national champion, but you look at the cloud that's looming over that program right now. You look at all the talent that they lost, and, they do have a couple of, Donovan Edwards coming back. They've still got a good running game coming, but they have nothing else on that team, and they're going to struggle. They have a new head coach. Who knows if the guy can even coach football, to be honest. I don't know who looked at that and was like, what this is, don't ever tell me that you don't base things off off years past again, because Michigan being top 10 is ridiculous.
They're and the whole Feinbaum comment, who's out of the top 10 teams, I'm reading that, and obviously all my Florida State fans were
Fuck Paul Feinbaum.
were reposting it, going, who is this guy? I'm reading the question and then reading the top 10 and going, Michigan,
Yeah.
Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame. I'm like, insert name here other than one or two.
Now, I mean, Florida State could be a top 10 team. I don't know. I truthfully don't know. I can look at you right now, and for the first time in a couple of years, I can tell you that I don't know what kind of season Florida State's going to have. Because you remember going in the last year, I told you if they beat LSU,
it could be a good year.
they're probably they'll have a chance to win it all. And they weren't given the chance to win it all, but they had a great year. They went undefeated.
I can't wait to see how Florida State gets left out of 12 teams.
Jesus Christ. Oh, man. That honestly has sucked the love for college football straight out of me. But NCAA 25 has put a lot of that back in. And shout out to Kennesaw State for winning back-to-back natties, by the way. So, shout out to them. And shout out to Carson for winning the Heisman at Kennesaw State.
Oh, my God.
I'll be 100% honest with you. Put it back on us now. We're done with the AP. I started the Road to Glory, and I posted on Facebook, and I texted a few people. I'm like, dude, is this shit supposed to be impossible? If you haven't played Road to Glory on NCAA 25, you have you could pick a 5-star elite recruit, you could pick a 4-star, a 2 or 3-star, and then a 1-star. It's kind of I chose 2 or 3. I wanted to start at a small school. Yeah. I didn't know that made your guy an idiot and inaccurate. And you go, like, not only is the team that you're going to go to, I chose to be a guaranteed starter at Kennesaw State. It's okay. Dude, I got sacked 9 times in my first game. I'm like, how are you supposed to play this? And, well, it was on the third All-American, I think is the third difficulty. I had to bump it down to varsity, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. I had to bump it down. I'm like, dude, this is too hard. This is too hard.
Yeah, they made it. It's a great game, but they made it tough, and it's exciting. Like right now, I'm the dynasty. I'm in an online dynasty with some PlayStation friends, and I'm currently the number 5 team in the land, Oklahoma State. We are. My head coach is Garth Brooks.
It's a lot more fun to play with not your team on those.
Yes,
and online dynasties.
And one of I will, and I quote, Lawrence said to start it out, he goes, "You can pick who you want, but if you want to pick you can pick a major player and if you want to be a pussy." And he then took Virginia Tech and said, ooh. And he took Virginia Tech, and he is the number 2 team in the land right now at 8-0 or 7-0. I'm 6-0, and I have 0-7 Arizona State at the house whenever I get home.
I love that.
And I've got like 5 recruits coming, so I need to win this game.
You got it. Yeah, that's a big one. That's an important one. Yeah. I haven't dug into the recruiting aspect of it yet. Honestly,
recruiting's tough.
I really just wanted to get good at the game, and then I'll start a road to glory with not a road to glory. I'll start a dynasty with a team.
Yes, Will. The gap between varsity and All-American it's
stupid,
insane.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
We played our first 2 games. Granted, they were against lower. Like Larry made our schedules pretty much, but first
play against each other is the way he was probably trying to make
it.
Yeah.
First game was against Computer. It was I think I had Ball State at the house. I beat them 70 to it was like 80 something to 7, and I started simming like midway through the third quarter. My next game, I ended up beating, I can't remember exactly who it was, but I beat them 69 to 10. And then we bumped it up from varsity to All-American. And instantly, my first pass, I threw a pick. I was like, what the heck is going on? Why is this different?
Because it doesn't make the game harder. It makes your players idiots.
Yes.
It makes your offensive line incompetent. It makes your receivers terrible.
And it was very exciting because I've gotten better at the game, I will say, because it makes you actually have to read the defense if you're going to pass.
Yeah.
And you actually have to call good plays if you want to run the ball, because you can't just turn around and do halfback slam 30 times. You actually have to call good plays and scheme and pre-snap recognition and figure out, oh, they look like they're in cover 2. Let me figure out a cover 2 beater. And you actually have to know football to play at the All-American. We're not even at Heisman difficulty yet. That's the crazy part about it.
Jesus.
If All-American is hard, I've got one loss, and it was at home to West Virginia. I could not stop them to save my life. Threw 5 picks, and only lost by 3.
Tyler Spalding says, I'm trying to take the Ohio Bobcats to the promised land on varsity, and I've thrown like 56 picks. Do you guys play, well, obviously in the online dynasty, you have to play offense and defense, but I'm wondering if I'm the only person that plays offense only, because I started as an offensive coordinator, so I don't want to play as the defense too. Like, I remember on the old games, like if you were the offensive coordinator, you played offense only. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now until I get a head coaching gig.
Defense is rough.
Really?
I've always been terrible. Going back to my little brother here, we used to play like season tournaments. You'd have a fantasy draft, and we'd draft together. I'd play offense, he'd play defense. Then he got mad because he wanted to play some offense, so I played the whole first quarter. He played the second quarter. No, he played first, I played second, he played third, I played fourth.
Bad thing about having a brother close to your age, you got to share your games.
But we won a lot of national championships. We won a lot of titles. So it worked out fine. But still to this day, I'm terrible at defense.
Straight butt cheeks on defense, Tyler Spalding.
I am with you on that. I am butt cheeks. I am with you.
All right.
Let's go, DuPont.
Yeah?
2-1.
Over?
No, not yet.
Okay.
We're at Tampa.
Okay, you're at Tampa. That's right. All right. One more time. Next 3 weeks. Football. We're looking ahead.
Foosball.
Next week, college football. We're going to make some picks, maybe try to build some playoff brackets here live on the air. Talk a little bit about the season for both of our teams, what we think Florida State and LSU are going to look like. Obviously, we'll be making some picks for next weekend. I want to do something. I want to make 10 picks every week like we do on ESPN between the two of us. But I want to make it to where you never pick an LSU game and I never pick an FSU game. So basically, it's like that 10th game every week, I'll pick the winner of LSU versus whoever. If it's a LSU versus not Charleston Southern or Florida State versus Memphis. You know what I mean?
Charlotte 49ers, baby.
Right. Yeah, right. Well, Charlotte 49ers almost went in the swamp and beat Florida last year, so don't count them out.
Don't ask me about Troy.
Oh, Jesus. No, don't ask me about Jacksonville State. It happens, bro. It happens to the best of us. Doesn't happen to the best of us without a team completing a pass like Georgia Southern did to Florida. But or remember when Middle Tennessee State went down and beat Miami by like 3 touchdowns? That was good. That doesn't happen to us, but it does happen.
I do want to say for all you non-football lovers that probably have clicked off the video by now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Or
gone.
if you're still in there, all of these next couple weeks will not all be football. We will have non-football content. We will kind of like we did today. We will talk a little about real world stuff because we still, like I said at the very beginning, still want to be multifaceted. Yeah. Still want to have everybody's interests involved.
Probably be about like this, right? I think we've unspokenly set an hour and a half as the goal.
Yeah.
I think so. It's like if you could split it 40, 45, 45, or for those it's probably 30 an hour. Let's spend an hour on football, but something like that. We're gonna have our question of the week starting next week. We'll kind of keep the 20 questions going. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so we have a lot more. We wrote down more than 20, by the way. So 20 answers is what it was. The Reds are on fire, by the way. 4 in a row, swept the St. Louis Cardinals officially. Second place. I'm not doing it, dude. They're only like 2.5 games out of a playoff spot now. I'm just not fucking doing it. I'm telling you right now, though. We're going to end this show. Yeet.
4 hours like fine bomb. No
Fuck
yeet.
The Atlanta Braves.
No yeet.
We coming, baby. We coming.
Be careful with
Drew, close it out.
Thank you for hanging out with us. It was a blast. We love getting deep with you guys and then also talking sports. Multifaceted, like I've said forever. Let's have some fun. Keep sharing. Keep liking. Keep following us. We got some big things headed. We'll see you guys later.
Yeet.